Welcome to the channel. The last weekend of June, I had a couple days off before the 4th of July, so wanted to pack some stuff in my Jeep, head back to the family farm, and do some prep work for the upcoming archery season. This is kind of a shelter belt between what used to be two crop fields. They're both CRP now, so the neighbor has a cornfield in on the other side of this shelter belt right here. This is actually the property line this fence is. The tree stand that I found this spring that had a tree blown down on top of it is actually back in here. I'm going to go back in, find that stand first, figure out a place to put the stand that I can access it. I'm hoping that this CRP grows up pretty good the next couple months, but that way it'll kind of hide the walk into this little corner. But when I shot that shed hunting video this winter or this spring, I think it was March or April, I was walking through that shelter belt right there. That's that really thick shelter belt up in there, so there's a lot of deer bedding up in there. But I was actually kind of hoping that if they were bedding up in there, I could get them to hit this water hole right there before they dumped into that cornfield at dark. Kind of an easy place to get into and out of without spooking a ton of deer. And gonna see if I could get in there, move a stand, find a decent place to put the stand, then dig in a water hole and set up a mock scrape in there maybe. So I'm gonna get started and see how much I can get done today. This is kind of a look at the inside of the shelter belt. It's not as thick as it looks from the outside, but I came in this spring when I had a little time when I was turkey hunting, and actually this winter also when I was shed hunting, and piled up a bunch of the deadfall. I just kind of staggered the piles to make it kind of a maze coming through here. This has been kind of a multi-day project that I've been planning, so I've been prepping this spot for today. Yes, I spent a couple days kind of prepping it. I found that ladder stand the end of last hunting season. That tree broke in the wind and fell down over it, so I came in this spring, late winter, early spring, and cut out a bunch of the tree that fell on it and piled it up. And now I'm going to find a spot for a little water hole down in here somewhere. It's something that this property lacks is water for the deer. It's kind of a dry property. It's about 160 acres and it's dry, so just gonna try and dig in a little water hole under a tree stand, give them a little destination. Hopefully when you scout this in the early fall, there's just rubs all the way up and down this shelter belt. You can see an old one right here. There's an old rub right there. There's one over there from a couple seasons ago. That tree right there got rubbed. So this is kind of a highway for the deer, especially when it was crop fields on both sides. Deer traveled back and forth through it almost constantly in the fall. So I'm going to try to find a decent tree to move that tree stand to, and then we'll start working on the water hole. I'm actually just going to go up and take this ladder stand down first. That way I can tip it up to a couple different trees that I have in mind and see which one I like best. Since I'm by myself today, I'm leaving this hooked up and the safety line hooked up. I'm just going to go up and disconnect the ratchet strap and then climb down nice and slow. Then I'll take down all the stuff on the bottom just to be safe about it. This ratchet strap's a couple of years old, so this is actually one of my dad's tree stands, so I'm gonna try and get it into a safer spot where it doesn't have a tree up above it. After you disconnect that ratchet strap, you want to make sure when you're climbing down that you keep your foot in the middle of the ladder so you don't tip the stand one way or another. It didn't go too bad, and I just disconnect the stuff down here, untie these ropes. I'm actually going to set the stand in this tree right here, the one that has the 3 or 4 little branches going up for it. That's kind of a young tree. It's going to be there for a long time. So this is a ladder stand, so all I really have to do is release the tension on it at the end of the season. And my dad's stand, he likes to leave them up, so that's actually going to give me a shot right here. So I'm going to set the water hole right there. I might move it in actually a little closer. I might actually clear out this stuff on the ground right here and move the water hole in right here. I'll adjust that once I see what the shot lanes look like once I set the stand up there. So that's where I'm going to set the water hole, up over there. This is kind of that little funnel along the brush pile. This is why I like this stand, or tree over here for a stand, is there's a bunch of thick stuff there, and I plan on adding a little bit more stuff to that when I clean up around this tree. I like the fact that this tree faces the right way, so I'll be facing this way. I'll be able to see where the deer are coming from, but I'm also right-handed, so I like to shoot to my left out of the tree. So I'm trying to keep most of the shots on my left-hand side out of the tree. I'm sure there will be a point in time where a deer will sneak down that field edge, and I'll have to make a decision if I can turn and shoot him out of the stand that way. But most of the bucks around here like to stay up in this cover, so especially when they're cruising, they like to stay about 20 yards or so in. This shelter belt's about 60 yards wide. They like to stay about 20 yards in from the edge, so trying to use that against them. I'm gonna clean up some brush over there and pile it in this little hole over here to block that off so they can't sneak down there. And then I'm also going to clean out a path right here so I can get out. I'm actually going to go get the little battery powered weed eater and weed eat a little trail in there. So After I got everything cleared out and took the trimmer through there and I just knock everything down, whatever I can hit quick. And I just go back with a rake, and I'm not really trying to get everything. I'm just trying to get all the little sticks that are gonna crack in the dark in the morning when you're sneaking in, or in the dark at night if you're sneaking out, depending on if it's a morning stand or an evening stand. And like I said, when I come back to hunt it the first time, or I'll actually probably check this spot maybe the 1st of October just to make sure that there's still water in the tote. If there's not water in the tote, I'll fill it up 1st of October. But it's I think it's a 100-gallon tote, so it should hold water for quite a while. But it's pretty much all of it, just on a nice quiet access in the morning. I did pile up some of the deadfall that was out here in the grass right there, just to keep deer from walking in and around this tree stand. Now it's kind of a little U shape, so if they do walk in here, they'll get funneled right back out. Just got the stand all set up, the ladder stand moved and set up, got everything strapped to the tree. I put some new ratchet straps on it, so it's going to be a lot more stable. I also went in and cut a few shooting lanes. So I'm going to climb up in the stand and show you what it looks like. This is the big game tree stands. I really like these tree stands with these mesh seats. They're a lot more comfortable to sit in. Cleared out a couple shooting lanes right there. So I got kind of what I wanted here. I got a lot of cover in front of me, so when the deer are coming down the shelter belt from that side, they won't see me before they get here. They're actually going to have to come around that little brush pile. I'm going to funnel them through this opening right here. I'm actually going to set the water hole right in front of that tree right there, a little farther to the right and a little closer than it is right now, but I should have moved it over. I'm going to put it right here. That's what it's going to look like from the stand. It should give me all shots on my left hand side. I did not clear any shooting lanes on this side. I hunt this not a ton, but once in a while, and I don't think that grass is going to grow up tall enough this year for that they're actually going to use that to travel that much. They usually travel in here, or if they do cut a field edge, they cut that little corner right there. But there's brush piled up from about right there all the way to right there. That whole thing is a wall, basically a wall right there. So I'm hoping that that turns them through the opening and gives me, I don't know, 15-yard shot, 15 or 20-yard shot. I think it'll be 20 to the water hole. I think it'll be 15 through the clearing right there. So hoping it works out pretty good. Just trying to do a lot of work on setup, but everything works according to plan when it's hunting day.